It's Sunday afternoon or evening. I'm going to go ahead and start getting some meals prepped for the week. I go ahead and pull everything out, all my vegetables, my meats, my containers, get everything ready. I'll cook it all at one time. I'll weigh it, and then I use just stickies to write the weights on everything, and then I'll put it in the refrigerator. Okay, so I've got my vegetables. I've got the broccoli. It's just broccoli. Like I said, if the bag product has just the ingredient or just the product listed on the ingredients, then I'll buy it. Brussels sprouts, broccoli. I've got chicken breasts that are non-MGO. No, GMO. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Ground turkey. I usually buy 97% lean ground turkey, but they didn't have it this time. I think I'm going to make a turkey loaf with this ground turkey today, and I'll just use some different herbs and spices for that. I've got asparagus. I always cook asparagus with my meals, and then green beans. I've got to saute or steam up some cabbage as well. I've got my scale out. I've got my containers out as well. What I'm doing with the asparagus so far is I'm going to sometimes I put my vegetables in a Ziploc bag to add the spices, and I'll shake them together. I'm going to steam up the vegetables in the steamer here and get those going, and that way I can get several things going at one time. Baked potato, I don't mean baked potatoes, I don't need baked potatoes. Sweet potatoes are already in the oven, so I'm going to get things going. Okay, so some green beans and asparagus are in there steaming. I'm going to get started on my turkey loaf. I usually cook vegetables a couple of different ways, either roasting them, steaming them, and baking them, so I'll have them cooked a couple of different ways. Also, another idea is I take my oil, the avocado oil that I use, and I put it in a little spray bottle and use that to spray some of the things, like when I cook a pan or whatever, and that way you don't use quite so much oil. And I also, while the things are in the bag, I'll spray this onto the vegetables in the bag, and that way you're not using so much oil, you're just using a little bit. So that's another tip. As far as recipes, I don't really use recipes. I just kind of mix stuff together. I just throw it in there. But some of the seasonings I used, I threw some thyme on the vegetables, dill weed. I love dill weed on my vegetables. A little bit of ground ginger will probably go into my turkey loaf, garlic powder, and this white pepper. So like I said, I don't usually follow recipes. I just kind of mix things up and throw in whatever I put my hands on in the pan. Okay, I've got my chicken breasts. They're cooking. I decided to put them in on top of the stove today. I usually either bake them in the oven or saute them. So the chicken's cooking. I'll put them with some onions and just throw some spices on there. My sweet potatoes are in there, and my turkey loaf is cooking. So I've got some things going. These vegetables are still steaming. So we're rolling. Just wait. Some of my vegetables are ready, so I go ahead and measure out some of my vegetables. I'm going to go ahead and add the green beans into some of my containers. I'm going to weigh out about 3 ounces, I guess, of the green beans. And sometimes I'll do 2 or 3, about 2 different types of greens or vegetables. And then I'll just wait for the sweet potato and my protein to get cooked, and I'll go back and add it in. So I've got my green beans in there. 2.95 ounces, which is close enough. And I'm going to leave it at that. See if I can see the ounces. 2.95 ounces. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'll go ahead and measure out several containers. I'll write 2.95 ounces of the green beans. And I'll date it. Today is the 21st. And I'll go ahead and put a top on it. And I'll do another container. And then when my proteins and potatoes get ready, I'll go back and add that to my containers. Okay, my chicken's ready. And so, looks good. Well, it didn't look good at that angle, but anyway. So I'm gonna go back and add chicken breast to one of these containers. I usually do about 3 ounces. That chicken is 2.95 ounces. I add that back to the sticky that I'd already put on there with my chicken. 2.95 ounces. And then my potatoes, my sweet potatoes. So then I tear that out, what you call tar. So I always just do 2 or 3 ounces of potatoes. That's just me. I keep my carbohydrates or my potatoes to 4 o'clock, to before 4 o'clock. So my potato is 2.15 ounces. And that's a meal. So put that on there, label it, it's good to go. And that would be a lunch. My dinners are pretty much the same without the potato. Dinners are just protein and a green vegetable. One of my favorite things is the spiral zucchini. I love this, and I just make my own. You know, you can buy it already made, but I'm a tightwad. I'm a cheapo, so I try to do everything myself. Just like I did my meal prep myself. It'd be much easier to use one of these meal prep services, but one thing I kind of think it's kind of fun. And like I said, it's, you know, it can be costly. But like I said, I like to do it myself. I think it's kind of fun. But anyway, I make my own spiral zucchinis myself. And I just saute them in the pan with some seasonings. And they're so good. Sometimes I'll add a zucchini and mix it with a yellow squash, onion. But today I'm just using zucchini. The only thing is I bought this one to make the spirals with, and your arm gets tired. That's the only problem with this one. But anyway, they're still good. So what I was saying about the carbohydrates is when I have just always cut my carbohydrates off at 4 o'clock. So after 4 o'clock, I keep my foods to protein and green vegetables, dark green vegetables. I do that all year. That's not just during prep, but that's just how I eat. That's just me. I know people think I'm crazy and I'm scared of carbs. I'm not scared of carbs. I just know what works for me. I have tried every bloomin' diet way of eating ever. This is the only way of eating that has worked for me, where I have been able to maintain a weight that I like. So I eat this way all the time, year round. I prep my own food like this year round. It leaves this little corkscrew. Even when I'm not getting ready for a show, I fix my own meals on the weekend. Take my own meals with me to work every day to the gym. Cook the same way all the time. But like I said, the only difference is when I'm getting ready for a show is, yes, I do get a bit more strict. I'll cut the drinks out here and there. I'll cut the sweets out here and there. But other than that, my eating is pretty much the same all the time. And when it starts to get small like this, it's aggravating. The finished zucchini noodles. And aren't they cute? And they taste so good. And they're good with like a ground turkey on top of them, or chicken, or whatever. I leave the seasoning in the pan from like the chicken that I cooked before, just to add a little bit of, you know, flavor to them, and then I'll add a little bit more spices to the zucchini themselves. So meals are going to be, I'm going to put together turkey loaf, and then some of my zucchini squash, my zucchini spirals, and along with another vegetable, probably broccoli. Zero that out, add some broccoli to it. A little bit more of that. And then I'm going to add some of my zucchini. See, it looks so good. It is good. Add some of my zucchini noodles. and that's done. That'll be a dinner because that's just in my fridge like this. They're stacked. They're labeled, the date, what's in them, how many ounces. And I usually, if it's just the vegetables, here's the one with just the vegetables and dinner. I'll usually write dinner. There's one, dinner. It's just protein and vegetables. If it's a dinner meal, I'll put that on there so I know what to grab. And then, so there's my meals for, that'll last me about through Wednesday.